The phone rings. It's the clinic, and the nurse has her careful voice on. Your screening test came back positive. Then the line that's meant to help. This test is 99% accurate. Your body has already decided what that means, and your body is wrong. No mistake, no faulty machine. The number you needed was never on the page. Look at the whole town, 100,000 people, all screened this morning. The disease is rare, 1 person in 1,000. So 100 people here are genuinely sick. The test really is good, 99% accurate in both directions. And it flagged you. Of everyone in town holding a positive slip, what fraction is actually sick? 99%, 90, or 50? Pause. Pick one. Then we count. It flags 99 of the 100 sick people, exactly as advertised. Then it reaches the 99,900 healthy people and wrongly flags 1%, 999 of them. Look at the two piles, a trickle and a flood. 1,098 positive slips in town this morning. 99 belong to someone who is sick. About 9%. A test that's right 99 times out of 100 just called you positive, and you're still more than 90% likely to be fine. Nothing malfunctioned. That is the test working perfectly. Here's why, and it isn't subtle once you see it. Your gut heard 99% accurate and pictured the test. The test was never the deciding number. The deciding number is how rare the disease is. Because it's rare, the whole town holds only 100 sick people. 100 is the most this test could ever correctly find. The healthy crowd is 1,000 times bigger, so a 1% slip-up on that crowd throws off 10 times more false alarms than there are sick people to catch. 99% of a trickle loses to 1% of a flood. There's a second thing hiding in the word accurate. Accuracy describes what the test does when someone already knows the answer. Handed a sick person, it says sick. That is not the question you're asking with the slip in your hand. You're asking it backwards. I know what the test said, so what am I? And the backwards question depends on something the test cannot see. How many people had the disease before anyone was tested? The test measures itself. You needed a number about the crowd. Fine, you say, build a better test. So guess at this one. The lab hands you a machine that's 99.9% accurate. 10 times fewer mistakes, both directions. Same town, same disease. You test positive on that one. How worried should you be now? Exactly a coin flip. 50%. 10 times the precision, and a positive still can't get you past maybe. Now push the other lever. Leave the test at 99% and make the disease rarer, 1 person in 10,000. A positive is now right about 1 time in 100. Precision cannot outrun rarity. And this isn't a quirk of medicine. It's a law about hunting rare things. The airport scanner that pulls 100 travelers aside and finds nobody. The face recognition match on a face that isn't yours. The fraud alert on your card at the supermarket. The workplace drug screen. The spam filter that swallowed a real email. Every one of those is a good detector aimed at something rare, drowning in its own false alarms. When the thing you're hunting is rare, most of what you catch is noise. And a false alarm is not a free mistake. Behind each of those wrong slips is a person who gets a week of no sleep, a follow-up scan, sometimes a biopsy, for a disease they never had. Which answers something you may have wondered. Why doesn't medicine just screen everybody for everything? It isn't mainly the cost. Sweeping a huge healthy population for something rare produces far more false alarms than real finds, and chasing them harms people who were fine. So screening gets aimed at people whose odds are already higher, not at everyone. And if it's any comfort, this one fools professionals too. Ask a room of doctors what a positive means, and plenty will answer with the test's accuracy. Now the honest ending. because there's a wrong way to hear all this. The test is not junk. Look at what it actually did. Walking in, your chance of having this disease was 1 in 1,000. Walking out with a positive slip, it's about 9%. That is a 90-fold jump in your odds from one piece of paper. Which is exactly why a positive isn't an answer. It's a ticket to the next test. Take a second one, a genuinely different test, not the same machine twice, because the same machine tends to repeat the same mistake. Come back positive again, and you're at about 90%. 2 ordinary tests, and the picture flips completely. And the same slip means different things depending on why you walked in. Come in with symptoms, and you were never standing in that ocean of healthy people. Your odds started higher, so a positive lands much harder. This channel ran the same arithmetic once in a courtroom, and it pointed the other way. There, a lone match should not convict. Same numbers, opposite advice, because acting on a positive costs a prison sentence in one room and a second blood draw in the other. So a positive is not a verdict, and it is not nothing. It's a 90-fold nudge and an instruction to go look again. Tell me where else you've watched a great detector drown in its own false alarms. I'll read every one.